Hello, what is up YouTube? G3 Iron here. We are 1 day, 5 hours, 19 minutes, and 0 seconds away from Delve League dropping. And today we're going to be doing kind of a mishmash or a roundup, as it were, a news roundup of all of the different things that have come to light and the discussion that's going on just in the PoE community since patch notes have dropped. So I got a couple of juicy discussions for you and a couple of juicy questions for you as a community to chat about. You can always, of course, check out our Patreon down there at the bottom. I've got a poll up on Patreon asking people what style of league you're going to be playing. So are you playing solo self-found, softcore, hardcore? Are you going to be playing trade leagues, softcore or hardcore for Delve? So feel free to check out that poll, and I'm going to link it directly down below in one of the comments. So first off, one of the fun things that the community does on Reddit is they use Microsoft Paint to describe their builds. So lots of different people do this. It happens pretty much every league. I want to say it's been going on for the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 years at least, where every league people do this. They use Paint to describe their build. So this is what the creator of the Reddit thread is doing this build. Looks like he's got a brass dome here, and then oh, this is the new staff, and then reliquary key. Okay, cool. Bunch of unique jewels over here, then cast and damage taken for, looks like Ice Nova, Immortal Call. And then trying to do an instant skill with Molten Shell. Hate to tell him, though, Molten Shell does have a 1 second cooldown on use. So even though it's instant cast, it's got a 1 second delay. And then he's going to be playing Juggernaut. So that's pretty fun. And then he's going to use the Dang Yo as the as his custom loot filter sound for whenever a scroll of wisdom drops. That's going to be great. Oh, the memes this league are going to go so great. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at some of these builds here that people have taken their wonderful time. You know, we're all given limited time in this life, and some of us choose to use them by making meme pictures. Okay, so this guy, whoa, this picture is ridiculously zoomed up. Okay, so he's going witch. He's going minions plus power charges. Okay, and then Dark Pact. Okay, so he's going Dark Pact, summon skeletons. That's going to be a lot of HP. If he stacks 5 minions have 10% increased life, and then minions have 14% increased life, and then minions have 30% increased. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of life. It looks like he says minions have 15,000 maximum life on his summon skeletons. Oh, goodness. And then it's going to chain a bunch. So he's got his DPS down here at the bottom. Looks like 2 mil, and then a bunch of chains. Wow, that's going to be... That seems to be a lot. It seems to be quite a bit of damage, but we'll see how far he's able to push that skills chain an additional time. Yeah, this could be a pretty expensive build, so that'll be interesting. That'll be his build, but maybe not his starter. Scrolling down, there was another good one. Oh, here we go. Still playing this in 2018. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the this is the machine gun assassin. You see, we stack power charges, and then we're gonna get life and mana back, and then you can see over here the machine gun Arnold. The Arnold pumping out 12 projectiles at an attack rate of 6.6 per second. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. Anyway, so that'll be pretty funny. That's a good meme build. There was another couple of ones. Oh, this will be fun. So this is using a Death's Oath, and then Reach of the Council, and then Alepathy gloves to give blight, and then to give the Veil Curse to give curses. This is pretty good. Yeah, this is the best walking simulator because you just walk around and stuff dies. I've actually got one of these on standard. It's pretty fun. Over here we've got this one. Yeah, this one is definitely not a league starter. This is pretty great. Anything that starts off with the Zerfies and then a Combs, it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely not a league starter. So we'll talk more about league starters later on in another video. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of the more expensive builds possible. But anyway, you can look and you can see he's just machine gunning a bunch of, I believe that's volatile. Yeah, it's cremated and then volatile dead that chase everything around. And I don't think he's ever going to be hit, but he's going to have this infinite loop going on here because he's going to have 2% increased attack and cast speed for each corpse consumed recently, and he's just going to be consuming a ton of corpse, and then he's going to be phantasming. Yeah, that looks like a pretty fun build. It's going to have some pretty interesting interactions going on. This guy's going to reroll as a popcorn necro, and he's just going to explode. You can see this. He's using the weapons in order to ignite his own zombies and turn them into popcorn, and they're going to explode. The annoying thing about these sorts of builds is summoning your zombies. I just find that it's annoying to constantly be resummoning zombies, but it can do sick damage because zombie life can get ridiculous. Just a casual elementalist build. Yeah, okay. All right, so he's going bow elementalist with minions and then doing bunches of minion damage as well as applies for him. The minions that it looks like he's using are going to be some golems. So he's definitely going to be the golem-ancer, as it were, but he's going to use a bow to do it. And yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. So he's going to get elemental ailment immunity, chaos damage and poison immunity, and then he's just going to loop a ton of damage from all of his primordial golems. So that's going to be pretty fun, playing a golem-ancer. Looks to be interesting. Let's take a look at this next one. This one was pretty funny. This guy's playing the Smite Guardian, which Ziggy D in his video showing off the last couple of gems. He seemed that he said that he was looking for a name for this holy warrior for the new Guardian meta. Smite might be the one to use, especially if you're using Smite as the Holy Smite as the active skill gem. It might just be a Smite Guardian, which makes sense. But he's got his Sentinels over here. He's got a bunch of summoner stuff up here for the summon zombies. He's got his animated guardian over here. He's got the dancing duo, and then he's calling this build the dominating blowjobs is what he's calling it, because he's going to use dominating blow and just do a bunch of minion damage. He's going to scale his minion damage while also attacking. So that'll be pretty interesting. And we've got one more. Am I doing this right? Was the title of this post. So this is a trickster. And it looks like he's going to have 30% damage is taken from mana before life, and he is going to abuse the heck out of his mana gain and mana conversion. So he's going to look for a Watcher's Eye that gives 20% of damage taken as mana over 4 seconds when hit while affected by Clarity. Then he's also going to have the Watcher's Eye. Then he's going to have, for a grand total combination of 68% of damage taken as mana over 4 seconds when hit. Then his life regen is going to be ridiculous at 1500, and then he's going to be running at Zeri Step and then have phase acrobatics, so that way his attack dodge chance is 50%, his spell dodge chance is 56%, which means when he's running Vol Grace he's at 75%, and then his mana regen is 526. His total mana with nothing on gear is 2200 mana. That's a bunch of mana. So this is a pretty tanky build, believe it or not. People that say evasion builds aren't tanky. So right now there's a bunch of people crying out about the block nerfs, which transitioning from hey builds to talking about what people are crying about. This is the thing that people are crying about right now, whether it's on the Discord, whether it's on the general forums, whether it's on the Reddit. This is the thing that folks are concerned about and are crying about. And you can see here from this image, this is a heat image, and I'll zoom in here a little bit. The highlighted red nodes are the nodes that this person is using to search on Path of Building spell block. A bunch of people are using data like this to say, hey, GGG said in their development manifesto we want more people to be able to use block and make it available for everybody, so that way it's not so pigeonholed into Gladiator. But then they did the opposite and they made it only available to a few people, and now in order to get max spell block you're basically going to have to play Gladiator. And the theory behind the discussion is that it's been discovered that, again, this is all theoretical. Okay, this has not actually happened yet because Delve hasn't actually dropped. But the theory is that block is going to be OP in Delve. And the theory behind this is, well, if minions continue to scale and damage continues to scale, simply preventing all damage rather than mitigating it is going to be the best way to delve the deepest into the mines. Well, that's a great theory, and I love it. It applies to both block both for blocking attacks as well as blocking spells. If that is the case, then it makes sense why GGG would preemptively nerf the ability to have spell block. It just would make sense because they're already identifying, hey, this is something that's going to enforce a meta that is clearly just better than everything else, that avoiding damage altogether or blocking damage altogether is just better than mitigating it, so therefore we want to remove that as a stumbling block or as a meta enforcement where everybody just goes, oh, well, now I have to play this kind of build to just block everything because it's clearly the best. So if that all is the case, again, that's all hypothetical, if that is the case, I actually like it then as a move. Because from a design perspective, it means that they know their own game, they're looking at it, they're testing it, and they're saying this is OP and we don't want to release this as OP. Now, you may be upset because, hey, block is not available now to all these other different builds. So be it. There's plenty of other things that are not available to all builds. If you want to play a Pathfinder, up until now at least, if you wanted to play a Pathfinder Summoner, it was a dumb idea. If you want to play a Champion Summoner, it was a dumb idea. If you wanted to play an Assassin Summoner, it was a dumb idea. Like, to say that there aren't already limiting factors in playing PoE is a silly thing. Now, just because there are limiting factors doesn't mean you can't do it. This evidenced heat map shows you that there still are ways, if you want to go get spell block and not play Gladiator, you can do it. The crab build on the passive tree is still a thing. Like, you can just go all around and collect the things that you want to collect and take the passive nodes and the shortest, fastest routes to get to those notables that you want to take. That is still something you can do. Is it the most efficient thing you can do? No, but if you want to do it, you're still allowed to do it. One of the primary differences between this game and other action RPGs, including the action RPG, which I'll go unnamed, is that stuff is allowable. The game gives you the mechanics to do different things, and you have tremendous freedom in doing that. Does that necessarily mean it's the most efficient? No, but you've got the freedom to choose it. Whereas the game that must not be named, that's made by another company, that's an action RPG, it doesn't even give you the option to do something like that. It just says, you're playing this class, and here are your abilities, and this is what you can choose from. So I think that it's hyperbole for folks to come out and say, our build diversity is being destroyed. No, build efficiency may be being destroyed, but build diversity is not being destroyed. Okay, so this was another fun discussion that's going on, and I just thought it was funny because it includes Danny DeVito. But anyway, so it's automatically worth sharing. But this is just a quick discussion on minions and on summons. So this guy's clearly using Summon Raging Spirit. We got the, if you couldn't tell that by now by looking at the image, you're not looking at the image, okay? You're AFK. So if you look at the image, you can see he's going to play Summon Raging Spirit. We've gotten more info about this hollow fossil, which is going to apply to weapons, helmets, boots, gloves, and body armor. You're basically going to be able to slam abyssal sockets on anything you want now. So let's say, for instance, you're playing a build that had 3 to 4 open sockets on various different pieces of gear. So you've got your 6-link, maybe that's your chest, or maybe that's your dual wielding. Not dual wielding, maybe you're two-handing something. So you got your 6-link, right? But then other than that, maybe you just need a 3-link and a 2-link and just a bunch of 1-links. You don't really need a bunch of 4-links or a bunch of 3-links, which means you can slam abyssal sockets onto stuff. So what this guy's doing with this is he's going to use these ghastly eye jewels in order to give a bunch of flat life and then a bunch of flat damage to his minions. Then he's also going to give himself increased maximum life per abyss jewel affecting him, and then of course, increase maximum life per abyss jewel, both mana and life affecting him. So he's just going to have a bunch of increased max life because he's using a bunch of different jewels. And he shows over here his POB, his POB snip. So he's got 21 sockets is what he says he's got. Plus he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 others. So that's 28 sockets, so that's another 28% onto straight up onto maximum life and maximum mana. Anyway, then he's going to use the command of the pit, which are these new gloves, which give minions have 1,000 accuracy. So he no longer has to use Lycosidae. That's why Danny DeVito is puking. Here, we'll move me for a moment. That's why Danny DeVito is puking out the Lycosidae. Like, he no longer needs to use the Lycosidae because minions already have 1,000 accuracy rating, which he shows off here. Base is 56%, with the gloves 82%, all accuracy nodes. It goes up from there. Gloves plus nodes, 92% accuracy. So he no longer needs Lycosidae. That is pretty huge. So SRS, unfortunately we can't summon 50 of them anymore, but we'll see. we'll see how good it is. As a skill, it's still kind of weird. SRS was the very first skill that I used in my playing time of PoE. It was I literally asked my buddy Beckett, I said, hey, do we have like a homing skill or a magic missile or something that just goes out and targets stuff? I don't want to have to chase down minions. I just want them to die. I don't want to have to chase anything. He said, yeah, Summon Raging Spirit. So I used that for the first couple of leagues that I played. And it's always been fun. And it's always a solid starter. It's not, hey, it's going to take you to the top end of gear. It's not going to take you to the end game. It's ridiculously expensive to scale. But as a league starter to get you to maps, totally fine. And even to clear out some whites and yellows, it's totally fine. It'll get the job done. So that's a great one. Okay, our next thing that we're going to chat about really quickly is don't get your hopes up for Scourge Arrow. So we're just going to let Ziggy play this out. This was on the podcast. I forget the name of the podcast. Somebody else can put that down below. But anyway, here's the clip.
Another skill, Scourge Arrow, which I think probably I would hold off on playing. That's going to be my official recommendation for Scourge Arrow. I think there's a lot of potential there, but I know it's not finished. So there's going to probably be some changes to that in the future.
Okay. Scourge Arrow, the one that fires and then leaves the trap exploding things.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
I'm
really excited for it because it's the first charged up bow skill. Believe it or not, we've never had a bow skill where you get this feeling of drawing back a string. Another skill, Scourge.
Okay, so there's the quote from Ziggy. So we need to be careful about Scourge Arrow because specifically Scourge Arrow is not going to be finished in Ziggy's words. So they've still got some things that they want to do to it. That could mean that they want to buff it. Honestly, it could mean that they want to nerf it, that maybe it's too OP. I don't know. But he simply says, hey, don't get your hopes up because it's not done yet. So what that means, maybe they'll finish it in 3.5. Maybe they'll finish it mid-league. Probably not. I think that they would wait. But anyway, lots of different things to take away from there. So anyway, if you were planning on building a Scourge Arrow build, try it out, but don't be surprised if you need to switch over. Okay, next thing up. Ziggy also came out with this quote. Deep in the darkness, the mobs are immortal. You can only damage them if they are touched by the sulfite light. Now, this is somewhat of a big deal for a lot of different folks, and there is a little bit of an outcry from it. Let's see if I can't find that while I'm chatting here. But a bunch of folks have been discussing whether or not this is going to impact their builds. So yeah, anyway, here's the top comment. It seems really odd to me that GGG never mentioned that detail, as it's a pretty important one. Hopefully we can get some confirmation or clarification in the footage rolling on stream. You can see mobs on the edge of the screen dying, so I'm a little confused. So the clarification is that if stuff is touching, and this is the clarification, again, from Ziggy D, this is the exact quote. Deep in the darkness, the mobs are immortal. So deep in the darkness, the mobs are immortal. You can only damage them if they are touched by the sulfite light. Now, it could be that the sulfite light radius of what's being touched is different than what we optically can actually see. So, for instance, in a lot of the trailer for Delve, you can see stuff dying that's on the edge of the screen, but it could be that the sulfite light from the minecart has actually been improved or boosted such that they may not look like they're in the light, but they're actually inside the radius of the light for damage-taking purposes. So if you were planning on playing, let's say, a Tornado Shot build or an Essence Drain Contagion build or something where you're just shooting something off and then seeing a bunch of stuff die off in the distance, off-screen, this may be something that impacts you. Again, we're not quite sure exactly how far or how big the radius is, and we do know that the cart is upgradable. So from day one, what people are complaining about versus what people are complaining about on day 7 once everybody's upgraded their carts a bunch, who knows? We've yet to see, but this is definitely something to think about. All right, so the next thing to chat about is this Periculum's Toe, which is a gold amulet. So this is a new designed unique, a supporter unique. So here we go. It gives you 12 to 20% increased rarity of items found. It's available from level 29, and it gives you lightning damage from enemies hitting you as lucky. So lucky means that things are rolled twice and the best result is used. It's essentially, if you've played D&D, it's essentially rolling with advantage. You get to roll twice and take the higher number. It also gives you flat dexterity, 40 to 50 dexterity. And then it also gives you nearby allies damage with hits is lucky. So lucky things are rolled twice and the best result is used. So this gives advantage on you and your allies. So think about this for your totems, for your summoned raging spirits, for your sentinels of purity, for your zombies, for your skeletons, for your specters, for your golems, for your friends that you're in party with. Nearby allies damage with hits is lucky. So if you do damage with hits and your allies do damage with hits, like nearby allies damage, it's going to be huge. This could be like the new meta amulet. We'll see if this is a chase item or not, exactly how available it is. And then, of course, it gives you a little bit of increased movement speed. There's already debates raging about how useful this is versus just using Elder or Shaper amulets. So we'll see what this is like later on down the road in terms of the meta and what its price is at and what it's valued at. But just from looking at the thing, there's not other ways where you can simply get advantage on your damage rolls. And so this looks like a pretty niche unique. That's pretty cool, all things considered. So, all that being said, we just chatted about a bunch of different things. Love to hear what your builds are going to be. So we chatted about the MS Paint your build for 3.4. Love to see what your builds are. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what your builds are. And, of course, fill out the poll down below as well. Let us know what league you're playing in. If you want to jump into the G3 Patreon Discord, we'd love to have you. It is a Discord that is set up with benefits for Patreon donors and Patreon supporters. Of course, thank you to all of the Patreon supporters that supported through Incursion, and we're looking forward to all the different stuff that we're going to dive into in Delve. But if you'd like any more information on that, you can check out the link down below that we've got linked to our Patreon website. And of course, thanks again for everybody just participating in the community. I'm really hyped for Delve because I love doing this. I love making videos. I love talking about PoE, and I love playing in a community of people that also loves playing PoE. So thanks so much again for your continued support and for watching. And I am super stoked for Delve, which is just 1 day, 4 hours, 57 minutes, and 20 seconds away.